Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to meeting number 5 of the State Senate Standing Committee on Families and Children. Would ask that the clerk please call the roll.
Senator Girdler, Senator Harper Angel, Senator Bledsoe, Senator Meredith, Senator Tishner, Senator Webb, Senator Westerfield, Senator Wise,
Present.
Vice Chair Rocky Adams, Chairman Carroll.
Here, we do have a quorum and are able to conduct business. We have one item on the agenda today. It is House Joint Resolution 39, and I think we have Representative Dixon and Senator Howell. You going to be presenting also? Yes. Okay. You have full permission. And I would ask everyone, please silence your phones before we begin. And gentlemen, please introduce yourself for the record, and you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Jonathan Dixon, Henderson, District 11. I'll let my guest introduce himself.
Jason Howell, 1st Senate District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During the past interim, Senator Howell and myself co-chaired the Benefits Cliff Task Force, which took a deep dive into the public assistance programs. This task force made recommendations which are put forth before this body in House Joint Resolution 39. This resolution points out a substantial amount of information that we gathered during our meetings, as well as items that seem to be the bigger issues facing our Commonwealth when it pertains to the benefits cliff and benefits that an individual is receiving in public assistance. The goal of this resolution is to continue to improve and address the benefits cliff in Kentucky through a review of all public assistance programs, study all flexibilities allowed by federal law to tier or phase out benefits as recipients' income increases, study the changes to CCAP program with the additional funding that we have received from the coronavirus relief packages, integrate a user-friendly benefits cliff calculator, and properly train those employees dealing directly with public assistance beneficiaries, implement an outreach and education program for the federal earned income tax credit, along with the availability of free income tax filing services and support among public assistance beneficiaries. I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of the Senate members of this task force. It was a very good task force. We had a lot of information, and I want to thank their commitment during the interim from the Senate on that task force. And I will turn it over to Senator Howell at this time.
Yeah, just a couple of things to add. First of all, Representative Dixon did the yeoman's amount of work on this and has for a couple of years, digging into all these complex issues. He really kept everything on pace with presentations. Mr. Chairman, as you know, this is a very deep issue. You did something in a similar space with child care and everything in there in them as well. Everybody recognizes there's a problem at the end, and we know conceptually what is causing the problem, but what is causing the problem has a bunch of moving pieces and everything is intertwined. And we really drilled down into that this year. We've probably got a little more work to do, honestly, on that. It's incredibly complex because you go over multiple disciplines in the state level and the federal level with federal programs and state programs. But it's something that everybody recognizes we have to address in our Commonwealth if we're going to get more people back to work, back to being productive, back to setting the right tone for their families and supporting their families. And I appreciate all the hard work that everybody on the task force did this year, and look forward to picking back up on this in the future.
Mr. Chairman, with that, we'd be happy to entertain any questions if the committee has it.
Gentlemen, I do appreciate you all's work on this and the task force. I just met with a group of providers that provide waiver services for adults and listened to some of the statistics that they had about federal dollars that came through and the impact that it made on their ability to staff their centers. And, you know, there are concerns at many different levels when this funding goes away, what we're going to be left with impacts. And you're right, Senator Howell, on child care, it is one of the concerns. And I know that the cabinet now is putting together some numbers with the federal dollars, the programs that we did, like offering CCAP to teachers, a great recruiting tool to get teachers in. And that's one of those things we're going to have to look to maybe continue. And for us to be able to maintain and to wean away from some of the benefits, it's gonna be expensive, and there's gonna be a lot of work, and I think this is a large part of it to get the process started. I know the cabinet, to an extent, has already put a lot of thought into this, and I think they're making plans, but you know, a lot of struggles. The money has been great while it's lasted, but you know, I'm afraid that there are going to be some very negative side effects as we move forward, and it's a little scary on what we might be facing in a lot of areas. Any questions?
Motion on the bill, motion on the HJR 39.
Have a motion from Senator Rocky Adams. Is there a second? Second from Senator Westerfield. Secretary, please call the roll. Do you want to be a secretary or a clerk? I've never asked. I usually ask that. Secretary's fine? Okay. From this point forward, you are the secretary. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Rocky Adams. Senator Girdler. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Bledsoe. Senator Meredith. Senator Tishner. Senator Webb. Senator Westerfield. Senator Wise.
Aye.
Chairman Carroll.
Aye. Resolution passes with a favorable expression by a count of 7-0.
Motion on consent.
We have a motion for consent. Is there a second? Have a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution will be carried on consent agenda. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate all your work, and appreciate you bringing this forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate committee members.
Thank you, Mr.
Congratulations.
Chairman. One other thing.
Yes,
that
sir.
I'm prone to do when I'm speaking without notes. Secretary Freelander and all of his staff did an incredible job of helping with this and providing information and walking through some of the issues. So I was remiss in excluding them earlier when I was talking about everybody that was involved in that. We really appreciated their efforts as well.
And you know, the cabinet, it's not always the best relationship between the executive and the legislative branch, but with Secretary Friedlander and his staff, they're always welcoming and always open to discussion, and it really does make things better, makes us a lot more effective in what we're able to do when we have that kind of cooperation. So I appreciate you bringing that up. If there are no other questions, no other business before the committee, the next committee meeting will be Tuesday, March 4th at 9 a.m. I'm sorry?
March 14th.
What'd I say?
March 14th.
Wow. Okay. March 14th at 9 a.m. I'm sorry. We stand adjourned.